Hey everyone, so this video is going to help you compose body paragraphs. Now, this is just kind of the training wheels version of how to write body paragraphs. This is by no means set in stone. It's just a very brief overview of what I've seen to be the primary components of body paragraphs. Now, once again, this is language that I have developed to help you out. And if you have a different method that's worked really well for you, by all means, stick with that. If you've only gotten A's in English course and nothing else, then just listen to this, see if I can add something to your toolkit, and if not, then you're fine, okay? So the way I like remembering body paragraphs is by thinking of myself sitting somewhere in a beautiful scenic place, maybe a little cafe. I might have a little beret tilted to the side, and I'm drinking a nice cup of tea as I write in my journal the body paragraphs, right? I know it's ridiculous, but you're going to remember it. So for every body paragraph, you should have a little tea. Do you get it? Tea? He's drinking tea. Okay, all right. Here's what I mean by tea. The three primary components of a body paragraph are topic sentences, evidence, and analysis. Now, the important thing to remember about this is that it doesn't necessarily have to go in that order. You can have evidence, analysis, topic, sentence, any other version of these that you can see fit. Really, for emerging writers, the best way to do it is this format: topic, sentence, evidence, and analysis. Now, another important thing to remember is that the frequency of these two bottom components, evidence and analysis, they don't have to have just one in a body paragraph. You can have multiple lines of evidence. So topic, sentence, evidence, 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 then analysis. You can do topic, sentence, evidence, analysis, evidence, analysis, evidence, analysis. It doesn't matter how you do it. So there can be multiple lines of evidence and multiple lines of analyses in one body paragraph. Okay, so first let's talk about the topic sentence. Now, the topic sentence is going to be the first sentence in a body paragraph. And all the sentence is doing, it's letting your reader know what the following paragraph will be about. It's just that simple. It's almost like a little mini thesis statement for the body paragraph. It's going to lay out an argument. So lots of times students want to kind of throw out a fact here, or if we're talking about a specific story, they want to use plot points for the first sentence. Don't do that. I want you to lay out an argument in that first sentence and then use the rest of the paragraph to unpack it. So instead of saying something like, Atticus shot the dog in chapter 11, something like that, turn that into an argument. When Atticus shoots the dog in chapter 11, we see that he in fact has a past that we didn't know about, or something like that. Or Atticus shows that he is capable of defending his town, something like that. It has to be an argument that a reasonable person can disagree with. I would prefer if you did not have your evidence in that topic sentence. So if you've got text evidence or a quote that you want to pull in from somewhere else, try saving that for the evidence portion of the body paragraph, which usually comes after the topic sentence. So try to refrain from giving me quotes, data, facts, statistics in that opening sentence. That doesn't mean that you can't. It's just saying in terms of learning these things, it's probably best if we save that for later. And something that we're going to learn later on is that this topic sentence is built from a specific detail in the thesis statement. So your topic sentences should relate directly back to your thesis statement. So if you're writing an essay and you're reviewing different components of body paragraphs, look at your essay and ask yourself, did I talk about this topic sentence in the details of my thesis? Now, if you're just building a body paragraph for an assignment for me, don't worry about that so much right now. We'll go back to thesis statements soon. Okay, so how to craft a topic sentence. So this is if you are building your topic sentence from a thesis statement. I want you to choose one of those details from your thesis statements. You probably have 2, 3, or 4. I want you to communicate that same idea. I want you to use different words to avoid redundancy, and I want you to expand it into a complete sentence. It needs to make an argument that supports your thesis. So here's what I'm saying. So let's take the thesis example that I used from the thesis video. A vegetarian diet is beneficial because it is, here are my details, humane for animals, healthier for consumers, and cheaper than a meat-based diet. Now, I want to take this first detail, how it's humane for animals, so I've chosen the detail. I want to communicate that same idea, that being a vegetarian is humane for animals. I want to use different words to avoid redundancy so it doesn't sound the same. And I want to expand the detail to form a complete sentence. Okay, so here's what I did. By adopting a vegetarian diet, consumers can rest easy knowing that they are not participating in the rampant cruelty of the meat industry, right? So all of that, and once again, I'm being provocative here. I'm not trying to persuade you. Lots of times in all the texts and videos, and things, I'm just trying to be provocative to get you thinking. If you disagree with me, great, that's awesome. I'm not necessarily naive, even believe this. I'm just throwing ideas out there. So what I'm doing here is I'm supporting my thesis statement that a vegetarian diet is beneficial, and I'm using the detail from my thesis. Okay, does that make sense? Now, once again, if you're doing an assignment that is not using a thesis statement, if you're just writing a body paragraph, what you need to do is come up with a key argument. What is it that you are arguing? Make sure that you're answering the prompt and you're doing it specifically. Give me a particular reason that you'll unpack in your body paragraph. Okay, so you can see that my topic sentence relates directly to my thesis statement. And notice that my diction or my word choice is different. I didn't say humane for animals. I said that you're not participating in cruelty, which means the same thing, right? So I'm saying the same thing, but I'm saying it differently. All right, now I did the same thing for my other topic sentences in my thesis statement. Healthier for consumers and cheaper than a meat-based diet. So my second topic sentence is, in light of recent studies, vegetarians on average are healthier than their omnivorous counterparts, which I'm connecting that right to my second detail. Topic sentence 3. When the explosion of meat prices in the midst of an economic recession is taken into account, becoming a vegetarian is a logical choice because of its affordability, right? Connected to detail number 3. So you can see there's a strong link between my thesis statement and the first sentences of all my body paragraphs. Now, just to reiterate, you do not necessarily only have to have one body paragraph for each one of these ideas. You can maybe explain how being a vegetarian is humane for animals in 2, 3, 4 paragraphs, right? But you should at least have one. Okay, next up is evidence. There's Atticus again, Atticus Finch. The evidence, I want you to think of yourself as a lawyer, right? You're going to demonstrate the argument that you've made in your topic sentence in one of the following ways. You're going to use a quote from an outside source or from the text that we're analyzing itself. That's one of the key things you can do. So you've laid out an argument in your topic sentence, now you got to prove it. Prove it with a quote from the text or the video or whatever it is that we're discussing in class this week. You can do it with a succinct description or summary from the text. So if you don't want to use a quote and maybe we're watching a film or something like that and you need to describe a scene, or if we're reading a short story and you need to describe a scene there, by all means, go for it. The good rule of thumb is if you have the text in front of you, use the text. Quote the film, quote the TED Talk, quote the podcast, quote the article, quote the story. If you can use text evidence, use it. And lastly, you can use a relative anecdote, which is a personal story about something that's happened to you, idea or philosophy that validates the claim of your topic sentence. So if you've got a personal idea, story, whatever, that proves the argument of your topic sentence, you can use that. Let me show you what I mean. Let's start with embedding a quote. So here's the topic sentence again. By adopting a vegetarian diet, consumers can rest easy knowing that they are not participating in the rampant cruelty of the meat industry. Now, for my evidence, I want to prove this argument with specific evidence in 1 to 3 sentences. So here's a bad example. Everyone knows the meat industry treats animals horribly by doing shocking things to them. That's really bad because it's really broad, right? Everyone is absolute. It makes your reader suspicious. Does everyone really know that? And what do you mean by treats animals horribly? That's way too general to stimulate any type of interest. You need to be as specific as possible when you're giving evidence. Here's a good example. In recent years, the Federal Department of Agriculture has revealed the horrible living conditions we submit animals to in order to feed the population from, quote, tiny cages living in complete darkness, tearing the young away from their mothers. We can see this institution engaging in appalling behavior. And then I give the author of who said that, the last name of them, Bulbo, right? This answer is specific. I referenced the Federal Department of Agriculture, so I have an appeal to authority here that makes sense. It also proves the argument of the topic sentence, right? So I'm proving it like a lawyer with this text evidence that I found. Whether you do your own research or you're pulling from a text or resource that I've given you, either is perfectly fine. Okay, so here's what I've got so far. By adopting a vegetarian diet, consumers can rest easy knowing that they are not participating in the rampant cruelty of the meat industry. In recent years, the Federal Department of Agriculture has revealed the horrible living conditions we submit animals to in order to feed the population. From tiny cages, living in complete darkness, tearing the young away from their mothers, we can see this institution engaging in appalling behavior. So that's what I've got so far. That's without my analysis. So the last part of TEA is analysis. Now that I've made an argument in my topic sentence, I've given you evidence to prove it. Now let's analyze it. And here's what you're going to do. You're going to tell the reader why your evidence matters and how it connects to your overall argument. Why the heck does this evidence, why does this argument matter? How does it support your overall thesis? I want you to expand on your evidence with your own thoughts, ideas, and opinions. And feel free to incorporate the words of others too. You can use quotes in your analysis as well if it supports what you're doing. And this should be, generally, a majority of your body paragraph because it's your own thoughts and ideas. Okay, so here's what I did. Watch this. So once again, we have the argument, topic sentence. By adopting a vegetarian diet, consumers can rest easy knowing that they are not participating in the rampant cruelty of the meat industry. Now, let's back it up with evidence. In recent years, the Federal Department of Agriculture has revealed the horrible living conditions we submit animals to in order to feed the population. From tiny cages, living in complete darkness, tearing the young away from their mothers, we can see this institution engaging in appalling behavior. Now, let's back it up finally with an analysis that demonstrates why it's important and how it connects to my overall thesis, namely that a vegetarian diet is beneficial. These abhorrent crimes are not a rare occurrence in the process of delivering dinner to your plate. By refusing to buy meat products, individuals can decrease funding for these corrupt and evil corporations and can do their part in supporting a more ethical and animal-friendly world. So, I've supported my thesis once again, and I've told you why it matters. I'm talking a lot. So hopefully you can see this is the main components of the body paragraph. Topic, evidence, and analysis, right? Told you why it matters. And once again, it's my thesis. I'm backing it up, right? Connect to your overall argument. Okay? Well, kind of conclusions yet. So that is body paragraphs. So hopefully that'll help you out. Please make sure that you're reading the other resources I've given you for writing body paragraphs. If you're stuck, you can always contact me and I will help you out to the best of my abilities. Okay? Watch this video over and over and over if you need to. For each body paragraph you're writing, you will do great. Topic sentence, evidence, analysis. Topic sentence, tell me your argument. Evidence, back up your argument. Analysis, tell me why your argument's important and how it connects to your thesis. Okay? All right, y'all are wonderful. Goodbye.